Hi, my friends. I wanted to show you something that I've been kind of reviewing and analyzing on different clips from YouTube. Now, what's really interesting that there are so many videos now that showing that they've taken film from back in 1901, even earlier, to late 1800s. Now, I've got to tell you, these are real. They look like real footage, right? And because there's no way that you could probably artificially generate these and, using a laptop or stuff like that, or, CGI the stuff. You can tell that this is probably authentic films that people have uploaded from the original black and white film. So I'm heading to some of this because here's what's interesting about this. That in my old timeline, reality, whatever, and we always get to bring that up, but it's true, on the old Orion Earth or whatever, that we did not have hardly any black and white film of this era. Now you could say, well, now that they've got technology to bring those back and start showing us those things that there was kind of being discovered, and they have a way of producing it to mass media through these, through the YouTube and other social media means to get those to us. But I can tell you, I'm not going to buy that backstory, because here's the reason. That I used to dig all the time because I was really interested in looking at old black and white photos or videos and stuff, and you just couldn't obtain it. Even so, this is like a really thing, because the technology is actually way back, even in 2000 in the late 1990s, that they would have the technology to do these things, simply just to digitize it and put it out there, right? And even when YouTube came along, you think that there would have been more of this stuff out there or anything like this. So so here's what I'm getting at. There used to be a guy that talked about tech before its time, and he used to run a Mandela effect and amazing stuff, which was, the tech before its time. I mean, seriously, there was like a Batman car and these other things where it's just amazing. That we even saw, there's one clip that shows that the police actually had, there's a black one we saw that where the police actually had a cell phone type technology way back in like, like the early, like the 40s or something, or 30s, right? And I'm like, what? But anyway, but where I'm headed with this is, what is amazing is that I think there is something to this, that through the Mandela effect, some things on this timeline, this earth, this reality, that there's some history that's been rippled back a little bit, that we're having these things that are appearing earlier than the original timeline history that I was from, because this stuff didn't exist. The only stuff that we had was like World War II black and white, and it wasn't good. That's the thing about it. I mean, I know this stuff is pretty good, but I've seen things where they showed the original and then they show the way that they enhanced and digitized these images. And I'm telling you, that's the only thing you could ever find any black and white video was not film. Sorry, just black and white film was from the World War II. And so I used to hate it, because I was like, God, I'd like to watch something else in black and white versus World War II stuff. But in my old Earth, that was all that they had available, because there was like stories about that. They said that during World War II that they wanted to have more, that's when black and white was really being pushed and being developed, because, and the camera and the equipment was because they wanted to have more the real-time footage that they'd use for the war plans, taking real live videos. Well, this is what we're seeing and stuff like that. So the footage was even more. That's when the footage began with black and white. And usually that's true. How progression of things are usually by through war or things like that actually drive technology. Unfortunately, right? Well, anyway. I don't want to go on about that, because this one I originally made this video about. So I mean, it's just one of those other things where history is just complete fakery to us. Resets. The time, it's all malleable, right? This whole reality is completely malleable. I mean, even history is malleable, right? Well, anyway, so what I want to show you this thing now. The reason I thought this is amazing. This is actually Marilyn Monroe when she had to hold her dress down. The famous video that we've all had to see, we've seen a million times, it was probably, everything's a remix, redone. I'm going to show you this video. And now this one has a guy in it, but the same This is just like a Marilyn Monroe. We ought to call this the pre-Marilyn Monroe thing. I'm serious. Did somebody watch this video and say, "Oh, we should have Marilyn Monroe do that someday"? I mean, okay, so I'm going to show you this. Crazy. Okay, here we go. Can you believe that? Watch it again. You gotta be kidding me. When I saw that, immediately I thought Marilyn Monroe type stuff. Is there anything in this world that wasn't a redo, remix, or a copycat of something else? They said there's nothing new under the sun. Well, my goodness. And I'm wondering, because I'm going to read the comments. I know you probably don't even care. I mean, does anybody even mention it? So he does. Marilyn Monroe's grandmother. You got to be kidding me, folks. See, I haven't even read the comments. This is crazy. I mean, really. Nostalgia. Well, anyway. But anyway, so I love all these old-time videos, and they're kind of cool. And, you know, it's the nostalgia. And I know I told you, boy, I would love to see that era. I mean, seriously. But anyway, not to go on about it. You're probably that, well, Kirk, your things are getting way off there. But I like to look at all different aspects of this reality, every little piece. Everything from spirituality to philosophy to everything. We can take a little microscope and take a look at it, right? So anyway, so that's what I was going to tell you too, is that I will get to some more spiritual stuff. I have all these ideas I want to show you and talk about. I told you that I even want to talk about, from a computer standpoint, about the simulation. And you know, I can explain things in a very organized manner, make common sense, that how this world is a generated simulation, right? And don't freak out about that. It is what it is, and I don't want anybody to go, oh my God, you know, because we've gone through this a million times, right? But I can actually explain it to you from a software engineer standpoint that provides some really good detail, because I've been listening to Hoffman. Remember, he's the physicist, and I'm telling you, I am going to try to meet with this man because he's really close. He knows that he talks about how we're in a simulation. He talks about reality, how he talks about that we don't know what reality really is, and all these things. The only piece that he does not realize is that it's been scripted and that we're living in a script. And, you know, we're all trying to discover how we should break our role. Or, you know, is that the game here that we're playing? We're trying to break our role in our script. Or, what is the ultimate purpose of this whole thing, right? And why are we all being forced into our scripts? Because even Jim Carrey, I told you, many of them know that we're living a script. They're awake to this, the Truman Show, the Matrix, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on. And then you got The Prisoner. I tell you, everybody's got to watch. Well, anyway, not to go on about it. But anyway, so hopefully I get to have a chance to talk to Hoffman and see what his thoughts are. But you got to be careful, because I told you, these people around you are like agents in the Matrix. They'll lead you astray, put you down a rabbit hole, lie to you, cause deception. And man, I tell you what, and people take downloads, and there's demons everywhere. It's all nasty. So that's what I'm going to tell you. Be very careful about what you want to give your energy to. Very important, because there is some truth in that. I'm not talking about this new age garbage, but you got to be very careful about what you put energy into, because you can actually manifest that and feed it. I think the more people that put that energy into, the more that you create that to a reality, right? So be very careful about focusing on, these things and putting in rabbit holes, right? So, and also creating, for example, we talked about where you give energy to some alien creature, you could probably create the darn thing, you know what I mean? Or, it's like even like poltergeist. I do not know what the reality is of poltergeist. I want to do more research of that. But sometimes, children's imagination is very strong. Their spiritual energy can be very strong. So, sometimes whether that's a real poltergeist or if that's that child feeding it through their imagination is a high possibility, right? And as you age, you kind of lose that ability to provide that energy. Because it's even interesting that Tesla talks about how he talked about you want to be a child because children could probably fly if we just didn't forget about using our imagination and giving it energy. He said that we could probably fly because, I don't know. And he did actually believe that. He probably thought that as you get older, it's just, your limitations by your being programmed to the physical world. But anyway, but there is something about this that even the Native Americans, I know that there's a lot of people talk about Skinwalker Ranch and the Native American and about the Skinwalkers. And boy, you ever talk to Native Americans about this, they'll tell you immediately, do not ever acknowledge them or give them attention or anything that has a demonic type or evil force, because once you give it energy, it takes that power and it starts to generate and re-manifest upon itself. So even Native Americans, I'm seriously, the elders always said, there's even a story about a young gentleman. He said that his grandfather chewed him out when he was a young Native American young man, because he acknowledged a skinwalker that he saw on the side of the road, walking down the road. And his grandfather, said, don't you ever acknowledge them, or don't even give them that energy. See? So there's probably some truth to that, right? Don't give it energy. So, all right. Anyway, love you all. Take care. And I hope this is a good one. So like I said, I'm going to try to do better stuff, but I want to keep it in a positive kind of way of how to deal with these things. I keep promising these things. I'm just so busy. So I want to do some amazing, cool stuff that I've been, for example, one little thing I want to talk to you about is even animals like dogs and even like eagles and stuff, that I've actually seen spiritual formations in the cornea of their iris of their eyes, that you can actually see, spiritual things in their eyes. So the window to the soul, even of humans, well, there's a window to the soul of animals even, kid you not. And I don't know if anybody's explored that, but that's something that I've seen and want to talk to you about, right? That'd be kind of cool, right? Anyway, love y'all.